Hello everyone. Welcome you all to this grand test 12 NEET Physiology question discussion with me Dr. Abhirami, your physiology faculty. Let's move on to the first question. The dichrotic notch in aortic pressure curve represents. The question is about cardiac cycle. In the cardiac cycle curve, when you draw the aortic pressure curves, so the aortic pressure curve goes from 80 millimeter of mercury to 120 millimeter of mercury, and when you draw the curve, so the curve goes like this, and this structure where you see a small notch like structure is called as the dichrotic notch. This is the aortic pressure curve. So whenever the aortic valve closes, the shutting of this aortic valve and rebound of the blood causes a small disturbance there. That is responsible for the dichrotic notch. So closure of aortic valve and rebound of blood. That would be the right answer. Question number 2. Fick's principle. Cardiac output is calculated by. So what is Fick's principle? If this is any organ and you want to calculate how much oxygen has been consumed by this organ. So we know that the arteries bring in the blood and veins remove this. So how will you calculate the oxygen that has been consumed by this organ? You subtract both. Arterial minus venous oxygen will tell you how much has gone into this organ. So oxygen consumption is equal to arterial oxygen minus venous oxygen, and this has to be multiplied by the total blood flow. Now, what is the total blood flow? If this is the heart, what is the blood that is flowing out of the heart called as cardiac output? So if it is the heart, you can write it as oxygen consumption is equal to arterial oxygen minus venous oxygen multiplied by cardiac output, because blood flow of the heart is cardiac output. So if I keep cardiac output on this side and take this to the other side, now oxygen consumption divided by arterial oxygen minus venous oxygen. This is cardiac output. So the best option would be option B. Question number 3. Central chemoreceptors located in the medulla respond primarily to. Central chemoreceptors are located in your brain. If this is the blood and this is the brain, in between you have the blood-brain barrier. So whenever there is increase in carbon dioxide in the blood, this carbon dioxide diffuses into the brain and CO2 combines with water to form H plus and bicarbonate, and this H plus is a very potent stimulator of the central chemoreceptors present in the brain. Brain means it is the CSF. So on one side you have the blood, on the brain you have CSF. So blood levels of CO2 and CO2 diffusing into the brain and CSF levels of H plus. These are the major stimulus for central chemoreceptors. So in this question we can go with the option B. CSF pH. H plus determines the pH. So the pH or the H plus concentration of CSF via carbon dioxide diffusion. That would be the right answer. Arterial PO2. PO2 is sensed by peripheral chemoreceptors, not central. Arterial H plus directly. It is not the blood or arterial H plus. It is the H plus in CSF, not the arterial H plus. And not the lactate concentrations also. Question number 4. Growth hormone secretion is stimulated by all except growth hormone. The main effect of growth hormone are it can cause growth and it also increases blood glucose levels causing hyperglycemia. So growth hormone increases blood glucose levels. It can cause hyperglycemia. So growth hormone stimulated by all except hypoglycemia can stimulate growth hormone because growth hormone causes hyperglycemia. During exercise, you need more glucose, so that can also stimulate growth hormone. Sleeping, when you sleep, you will grow. So during sleep also growth hormone is stimulated, but not hyperglycemia, because hyperglycemia is the effect of growth hormone. It is not the stimulus for growth hormone. Question number 5. True regarding the portion of the nephron questioned below. So the portion questioned here is the thick ascending limb. So the question is about thick ascending limb. At thick ascending limb, you have an important transporter, NKCC, sodium potassium chloride transporter, which will help in active reabsorption of all these salts. And this segment is impermeable to water. That is why it will absorb salts, it will not absorb water. So water remains in urine, making the urine very dilute. And that's why this segment is called as the diluting segment of the kidney. So which would be the more appropriate answer? Option A. Active sodium reabsorption, and this segment is impermeable to water. Question number 6. The volume that cannot be measured by using a spirometer. A spirometer is a tube like instrument. You put that, a digital spirometer, you can put it into the mouth, and when you breathe into the tube, the computer will draw the graphs for you. So whichever volume you breathe into the tube, it can measure. But whichever volume you don't breathe, whichever volume is not coming out, the machine cannot measure. So which is that volume which remains as a residue in your lung and it is not coming out? That's the residual volume. So residual volume cannot be measured by using a spirometer. Question number 7. A 19-year-old boy came to OPD after a road traffic accident, inability to speak. He's not able to speak. The doctors find the area of injury is in the Broca's area. Where is the Broca's area? Broca's area is located on the frontal lobe. So this is Brodmann number 4445. What is the function of Broca's area? This helps in fluency. That's why it's called as the motor area for speech. So which lobe of the brain is probably injured? Broca's area means definitely it is the frontal lobe. That's why he is not able to speak. This completes our discussion on Grand Test 12 NEET Physiology question discussions. I hope it was a useful session. Thank you so much for joining with me. Thank you.